Dear student, today we are going to learn about the capacitor and the capacitance. Now, what is a capacitor and how the capacitor is formed? So, when a dielectric material is filled between the two conducting plates, at that time the capacitor is formed. Means what? Okay, when the two conducting plates are placed parallel to the each other and dielectric medium or a dielectric material is filled between the two plates, at that time the capacitor is formed. Now, what is the charging of the capacitor? So, consider one circuit which is given here. X and Y both are the conducting plate and dielectric medium is filled between the two plates. So, it is a capacitor. Now, this capacitor is connected across the DC supply, and the voltage of the DC supply means the voltage of the battery, that is the V volt. Now here S, that is the switch. Now initially when the switch is open, at that time there is no charges on the capacitor. Now when the switch is going to be on, at that time your current is flowing from battery to the capacitor, so which is called a charging current. At that time your electron from the or a negative charges on the X plate is travel towards the your Y plate. So your X plate become a positive and Y plate become a negative. So initially the charging current is a more, and at that time there is a potential difference is set up between the two plate. Now when your potential difference between the your two plate is equal to your battery voltage, at that time the charging current becomes the 0. So initially your charging current is gradually rise, and that after it will be gradually decreasing, and when your potential difference set up between the two plates is equal to your battery voltage, at that time your charging current becomes the 0. Now what is a capacitance? So capacitance means the property of the capacitor to store the charges, that is called a capacitance. Now if the plate of the capacitor is given a charge of a Q, and if the potential difference is set up across the plate is a V volt, at that time we can say that the capacitance C, that is the Q by V. See here, suppose the charge on the capacitor, that is the Q, and suppose the when it is connected across the supply and the potential difference set up between the plate, that is the V volt, at that time we can say the capacitance of the capacitor C, that is the Q by V. Now suppose Q, that is the 1 coulomb and V is the 1 volt, at that time we can say the capacitance of the capacitor, that is the 1 Faraday. So that is the capacitor and the capacitance.